Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it, Monty. We're gonna get into it on this one.
I'm gonna fucking cook you if anything is fucking stupid in this. I'm cooking you.
I get it, but let's get right into it.
Okay, you guys, there is a very strange thing happening right now where a young woman with absolutely zero professional qualifications has been inserted at the top of a charity organization that pulled in over $250 million last year. And the media is telling you that you have no right to know or to ask anything about her. The argument being made is that her husband was murdered. Therefore, she has a right to assume the position. And despite the fact that
Oh, and shout out Noah Joyner for following me on Rumble. Appreciate the support.
Turning Point USA is a literal charity, and therefore it's not even have to pay tax on that $250 million+ or pay tax on the alleged future billions that it's due to rake in thanks to a deal with a man named Pierre. These talking heads are claiming that the public simply wanting to ensure the person who is running that organization is, I don't know, at a bare minimum, moderately honest about who she says she is. No, that inquiry makes you a monster. So I guess your job is to head to work 9 to 5, receive a flurry of unsolicited emails and text messages reminding you that Charlie Kirk, the innocent man that you watched be executed in broad daylight live, you're to be reminded that that was her Charlie. My Charlie needs your help. Here's how you can give us your 401k and house. The emails have been landing into your inbox at an alarming rate, saying things like that. There's virtually nothing that the feds are telling us about his murder that makes any objective sense. But if you're feeling weird about any of that, you're reminded constantly that she is a grieving widow. She's a grieving widow. That sentence, in my opinion, is this year's Trust the Science. She's a grieving widow. The mainstream media, of course, Zionists implied, are effectively telling you to roll up your sleeves and get the vaccine again, dopes. Tyler Robinson did it. Erika Kirk is grieving. Please allow her to do so in the privacy of the billion-dollar charity that she took over. Remember when they did the 6 feet social distancing thing? They cast that spell. Let your granddad die alone in the hospital. If you desire to see your grandma this Thanksgiving, it's because you're a demon from the gates of hell. Yeah. Resist your human instincts. Obey the government. It's the same kind of messaging, the same kind of emotional manipulation, but it's a new year. Still have questions or concerns about who Erika Kirk is and why she seems to have lied many times on record? Well, you're Satan, and I'm sorry that you are. And also, I would like to remind you that you are destroying Charlie's legacy. Now, it is very important that I remind you, we haven't even said anything yet. A 2-minute trailer resulted in one of the most aggressive preemptive PR strikes that I have ever seen. They posted photos of my manager's infant daughter, my makeup artist, my family members. Lots of voicemail from my producer. Okay, well, this was initially supposed to be just 3 episodes. But now I'm thinking about a season 2 and a season 3. Because if you haven't quite figured me out yet, or thought through how we got here, I don't like it when innocent people are targeted and attacked and on rare occasions shot in the neck in broad daylight. No one blinked when entire investigative series and books were written about Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, Meghan Markle, because they're public figures. I've effectively endured 10 years in politics with nonstop exposés and investigations into my background, but we're told Erika is somehow untouchable. Let me tell you something. The truth does not require a multi-million-dollar PR campaign. It also does not fear inspection. So welcome to Bride of Charlie.
We have nothing to hide.
Where should we begin in this story? I think maybe with just a blanket statement. Something is not right with Erika Kirk. And despite a most aggressive influence campaign, which at one point even included a sign.
You're muted, Set.
I'm gonna go ahead. Thanks, appreciate that, Monty. So, what pretty much Candace is getting at right here is that, like, if you didn't see the episode, Candace actually exposed the fact that Erika Kirk was texting a 15-year-old girl. And look, there was never anything sexual that happened. It's just that the conversation got sexual, and we're talking about Erika Kirk conversating with a 15-year-old girl, and the conversation got a little gay. Let's just say that, a little lesbian.
Letter from the Secretary of Treasury assuring us that Turning Point is above board, amazing organization. And despite, in addition to that, a flurry of homosexual men making over dramatic videos about sheer evil. No, not mass murdering children, sheer evil, investigating someone at the helm of a billion-dollar company. Despite all that, the public remains unconvinced that she is simply a grieving widow, because she isn't simply a grieving widow. She's also the CEO and chairman of an organization. In fact, during our preparation for this series, an investigative journalist named Elizabeth Lane went viral on X because what she authored about Erika was brilliant. It just was objectively brilliant. It gave voice to what millions of people worldwide were feeling, but didn't exactly know how to express. And I'm going to read you her words in their entirety because I think it's very important, okay? Elizabeth Lane wrote, "I'm going to be blunt. I have reached the point where I find Erika Kirk to be deeply disturbing, not because of rumors or gossip, but because of consistent, observable patterns of behavior. To be clear, everything I say in this post is my opinion. I am not claiming this is a fact. I am saying this is what I think Erika Kirk is. I come from the world of acting and modeling. I have spent years around social climbers, opportunists, image curators, and people who treat relationships like ladders. That is why I left that world. Most of these people are shallow and harmless. A few are dangerous. Erika falls into the latter category not because she is just ambitious, but because of how calculated and performative her ambition appears to be. I believe she may be a psychopath. What stands out immediately is the reaction that she provokes in other people, which is very common with psychopaths. Across the board, including people who support her publicly, the private reaction is the same. It's, I can't watch her. It's not a criticism. It's just a physical discomfort. People turn off interviews because the presentation feels artificial to the point of being unbearable. Let me explain. That kind of response does not happen accidentally and does not happen often. Research in psychology shows that humans are highly sensitive to emotional incongruence, mismatches between a facial expression, tone, and content. When the effect appears simulated rather than genuine, the brain registers it as a threat. This activates discomfort and avoidance, even if the person cannot consciously explain why. So many of us felt this way, but we could not explain why we could not watch her. Studies on psychopathy, particularly those building on the work of psychologists like Robert Hare, describe traits such as a rehearsed emotional display and shallow affect. These traits can create what observers experience as an uncanny interpersonal dynamic. The discomfort arises and people want to shut it off because most people rarely encounter extreme affective mimicry in everyday life. So the brain struggles to categorize what it is detecting. Erika is attractive enough, and she had every tool in her possession to sell this organically, except for one thing: emotion. The entire story of what happened could have helped her sell this fully. She really would have been the last person on earth to be a suspect, if not for the FBI's terrible mistakes, Turning Point USA's lies, and her very fake performance. Plenty of attractive, ambitious women move through media spaces without triggering that response, even though we know what they are. This is about something else, an extreme disconnect between presentation that she puts out and the perceived authenticity. Erika is not the archetype of a model actress seeking money and fame and then settling into a quiet life with a wealthy, good-looking husband. She is the wolf type who wants to be in the place of that husband. She is not born for a supporting role. She's a decision maker. She appears to pursue proximity to power, moving fluidly between television, nonprofits, branding opportunities, and ideological spaces that maximize her exposure. Her previous partners are guys that women like her would date, muscular, jacked, good looking, even though they are not people with huge potential. They are all somewhat established. They are good stepping stones until the right person shows up. Now looking at her previous partners, I would say that Charlie probably was not her type visually, but he was exactly what she was looking for in a man: potential to be a great power. What Erika was looking for is the same thing Hillary Clinton was looking for when she met Bill. She recognized that Bill Clinton was her ticket to power, the power that she could control, and she was right. She realized that she could create a great brand out of him and herself, and they still are a brand, the Clintons. No one in this world can say that those two love each other. They are a brand that works. That's why she's sticking around despite Epstein and Lewinsky. Also, if you think Bill is the decision maker there, you must have never been in close proximity to the Clintons. She moves the game. She is the decision maker. Erika saw a brand with Charlie. She also saw that Charlie could one day become president of the United States if he wanted to. Charlie had the ear of the most powerful segment of any society, students. He was going to be a very important player in politics, and she was not missing that ride. What is striking is how completely her public identity reshapes itself after that relationship begins. The aesthetic, the tone, the values, the presentation all change. Overnight, the persona shifts into the role that best suits Charlie's world: devoted Christian, modest, a supportive housewife. That kind of rapid adaptation is quite impressive for a usual person, but not for a psychopath because they do it all the time. In my head, the story goes like this. For a moment, it works. She becomes the wife of a rising political figure with access to donors, institutions, and national platforms. At that point, the ceiling isn't social media influence, it's empire building, foundations, global reach, a legacy, a brand, the Kirks. It's obvious that Charlie listens to her, whether it's about donors or the trajectory of Turning Point USA. The most influential figure in any mentally healthy man's life is going to be his wife. She's going to be the biggest influence, and that is just how it is. That is why you need to pick your partner wisely. And everything was going well until Charlie began making decisions based on conscience rather than expansion and money. He turns down money. He refuses to play dirty politics. I am assuming someone like Erika, who married into this because she had a vision for this brand, would not be very happy about that. The life she appears to have signed up for, the power couple, expanding influence, historical relevance, was collapsing into something else entirely. Domesticity, housewife, kids, and now Charlie refusing to accept the money that can make him a global power. A supporting role instead of center stage is not her thing. Her husband died a few days ago, and she walks onto the stage as if she was born there. It comes naturally to her. She knows it and she wants it. Just days after her husband's death, she was already laying out ambitious plans for the company over Zoom. It's obvious she was always deeply involved in the business and knew exactly where to pick up when her turn came. What people struggle to watch, what makes the screen unbearable, is not grief. It's the absence of emotional continuity. Performances can be learned. Trust me, as a former actress, I can speak to that. But emotion cannot be improvised or mimicked if you've never experienced it. That's why I think we are dealing with a psychopath who has never really experienced these emotions and does not know how to play them. And audiences feel it instantly. It's fake. Again, this is just my opinion. It's a good place to start. It is a good place to start because there are a lot of things that Elizabeth said there that I think I am going to be able to prove, adapting her personality to suit the people that she meets, the lies that she tells. I've done a lot of work here speaking to ex-boyfriends, speaking to old class.
And I mean, I can touch on some of the things they caught Erika Kirk up on. Like, she says she never dated before Charlie and all that good stuff. Well, that was a lie. And I mean, that's probably like the biggest lie they caught her up on, if anything, was the fact that she did date before Charlie, multiple guys. And, I guess lying about that is a bit concerning, but we'll see what Candace comes out of this. And guys, if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, make sure to send in a super chat to help us towards the goal. And let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Classmates, I really wanted to get a sense of who Erika was. And also, in a word, yes, I concur. There is something about her. I don't know any single personality in the media or politics that has had the same effect that Erika has had on people worldwide. She's a rare bird, okay? She has actually managed to unify the left and the right on a single perspective. Think about that, how amazing that is. Say what you will about Hillary Clinton, but she had a true following on the left, right? It was a bloody match back in 2016. Now, beyond Erika, what Elizabeth is diving into here is psychology, right? She's guessing and she's speaking about psychology, a social science that was created, to be very clear, by German mystical Jews, right? They believed in mystical Judaism. They were practicing the occult. Now, if you are a regular viewer of this show, you know that I have sort of obsessed myself with this history over the past 2 years, the books that we read in book club, all about the very dark history of modern psychology and its direct relationship to child abuse, trauma-based mind control. That's what the book, The Assault on Truth, lays out. This person wasn't just an author that was guessing when he wrote this book. He was in control of the Sigmund Freud archives and lost his entire career just trying to ring the alarm on what these scientists knew. He explains that they abuse children with the goal of transforming them into future psychopaths that can be controlled. That is the science that was brought here to America via Operation Paperclip. What began as Project Monarch in Germany ultimately became MK Ultra in America. The Manson murders, the 60s, all of that was our government, CIA gone wild after the assassination of JFK. For drugging and experimenting upon citizens with the explicit goal of controlling minds, social engineering, making people get into a formation. These are indisputable and historical facts. This brought forth the dawn of serial killers in America, too many of them with curious ties to the military. Yeah, MK Ultra was a military grade program. Truthfully, behind every unthinkable crime is a deranged psychologist and a prescription cabinet. If you think that MK Ultra ever stopped, I hope that the Epstein files and the stunning defense of the Epstein files from our quote unquote.
Hey, yo, shout out to Daniel Castro on Venmo. He sends $15, which, like I said, anything sent to Venmo is double the support towards the call in. So that's pretty much $30 towards the call in. But shout out Castro. He said, Tiny Hat Money, we own you now. Dang, just with the 15, you're already owning people? Like, bruh. Don't be cheap. Don't be such a Jew about it. Okay, I'm just playing. But all right, though, let's get back to
tweets helped to shatter that illusion for you. We discussed MK Ultra during the Kamala Chronicles. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is suing me for merely mentioning MK Ultra on Tim Dillon's show. How bizarre. Why is the president of France, who himself is a victim of minor sex abuse, so concerned about that conversation being opened up? Independent study into Sigmund Freud and what he and his colleagues were doing in Vienna is crucial for you to understand what is going on in this world and the way that the world works, okay? Now, pivoting back to Erika and her story, I will tell you my personal opinion and my experience with her. What alarms me about Erika isn't so much the fact that she lies, which we will prove to you over and over again, but it's also the fact that I don't know that she's aware that she's lying. It's almost as though she doesn't remember. Like the version that she's telling us today or yesterday was just recently downloaded into her mind, and she therefore thinks it's true, like a faulty memory or something. I'm saying that I'm not sure if she's fully aware that she's lying, because it's like some of the lies are so stupid. She's just sort of going. I want you to also know, by the way, of course, we reached out ahead of this episode. We reached out to her specifically with just 4 questions pertaining to past statements that she's made that do not appear to align with the reality of what we have discovered. Okay. For example, here's just one example. We are told that Erika Franzwey was raised by a strong, independent, entrepreneurial, single mother who taught her how to be a good Christian, a devout Catholic mother. Lori Franzwey, right? As an aside, that this Catholic mom, who am I to judge Catholics, but she's been married 4 times that I can see. We'll talk about that more down the line. More importantly, though, you will recall that Erika sat down for an in-person interview with the New York Times days after Charlie was publicly assassinated, and she confirmed to them that the least traumatizing part about Charlie's assassination was the prospect of her now having to raise her children alone.
Really?
She wasn't traumatized by that idea because she had seen the example set for her by her mother growing up. As People magazine later echoed, quote, Erika Kirk has learned a lot from her mother, Lori Franzwey. After welcoming her daughter in November of 1988, Franzwey divorced Erika's father, Kent Franzwey, and raised her.
Yeah, and shout out to my man Josh Burton, Pork Chop Express. Sorry there.
Damn, you got a whole frog and a half in the throat.
Man, I'm telling you. But all right, though. He says, say her name, Kimberly Cackle. Well, shout out to Kimberly. Say her name. Remember that Candace attacked her for 0 reason and destroyed her. No explanation for it, but it wasn't for the greater good. And I mean, you know what? I did not know these two were beefing. I mean, they are both black too. So this is the lady that he's talking about. Now, I didn't even know her and Candace Owens had beef like that. Huh. What did she even do again? Let me see here. She like an activist, is an American political commentator. She was the Republican nominee for Maryland's 2nd Congressional District in 2024. All right. And she's a Republican. Huh. I wonder what she attacked her on. I'd have to look that one up because I didn't even know I'm gonna be honest with you. Shout out to my man Jack. I didn't even know about her until you mentioned her. But all right, let's get back to it.
Her as a single mother in Scottsdale, Arizona. Lori spent nearly 2 decades working for General Electric before founding multiple companies in the network security industry, according to her LinkedIn. So you can see they're seeding the public with the idea that you can raise kids and be a single mom and also be a CEO and boss babe it. Okay. The only problem is that it's just not true. Erika was not raised by a single mother.
And let me go ahead and give you a bit of the background. The what was their name? Emily, yes. Kimberly, not Emily. Kimberly. So yes, in December of 2022, a Tennessee judge dismissed a prejudice seat. Yes, a prejudicial, a $20 million defamation lawsuit. So what was it? There was a defamation lawsuit filed by former Republican congressional candidate Kimberly against conservative commentator Candace Owens. The lawsuit was deemed baseless, slapped, strategic lawsuit against public participation suit. And Kalik was ordered to pay, damn, 1,500, well, not 1,500, but 115,000 in legal fees and costs to Candace Owens. Now, see, the legal battle stemmed from a 2021 dispute on social media regarding Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday, was escalated into a personal feud between the two conservatives. Allegations: Candace Owens released an Instagram video accusing Cacklin of being a madam of a strip club, committing tax fraud, laundering money, and using campus funds for illegal activities. The lawsuit, Cacklin filed a defamation suit, claimed the allegations were false, damaging, and that Candace Owens continued to promote harassing against her. The court dismissed the lawsuit, meaning Cacklin cannot refile the same complaint. So apparently they investigated and it was baseless. But I ain't gonna lie though, if you look at Cacklin, I could see her being a madam. I mean, she do look good. I'll tell you that one right now. I mean, shoot, I ain't gonna lie, she do look good. But all right, though.
God damn it, Set.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. But all right, though.
Bro, she's gonna hit you with a fucking lawsuit next. Calm down.
My bad. What can I say? If they look good, I'm gonna call it out. But all right, though, back to it.
Like, at all. Erika's father, Kent Fronsvay, by the way, he's Kenneth Fronsvay, but he goes by Kent, was always in her life. So much so that for entire years of her childhood, Kent was actually a stay-at-home dad. So almost the exact opposite thing was true at one point. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually take Erika's. Take a listen.
Hold on. I do not want to knock the stay-at-home dads. I do not. There are some who had to temporarily have to switch that role. That happened to my parents a long time ago. Granted, again, they got a divorce, so that probably falls into your bucket. But
I am an anthropologist.
But my dad was a stay-at-home dad for a few years, and I gotta say it was really sweet and really special. I was 4, but that was,
of course, it's not an indictment of the morality.
No, but if you're saying from the get-go, I want to be a stay-at-home,
it is a imbalance.
Dad.
It's an imbalance of nature.
So, stay-at-home dad for a couple of years. She remembers it. So I assume started at 4 for a couple of years. People don't typically remember being 1 and 2. And now he wasn't in her life. To be clear, Erika was 10 years old when her parents divorced in 1998. So her father was very much a part of her early childhood, and he did not stop being involved in her teenage years either. I've spoken with classmates, past boyfriends, and people are generally bewildered as to why Erika is now publicly representing as though she does not have a relationship with Kent, the man that she claims is her father, at least. Or also something she fails to mention is that even if you removed Kent, Erika was raised with her stepfather in her home, a man named Larry Ginta. In her high school yearbook, actually, Kent is included, her father, biological father, in a collage, and so are his parents, her grandparents, Carl and Elaine. So we can reasonably assume that her father was in her life. We can also assume from that photo that Erika was exceedingly close.
Oh, and shout out to Daniel Castro. He says he never calls you out, Monty. I'm weak. Wait, who, me? Oh man. Oh, what? Well, shoot. I'll call Monty out when I feel like Monty's wrong about something. But other than that, I ain't nothing to call him out about.
To her stepfather too.
I
Bring
haven't
that
even
back up, and
said
I'll show that.
anything.
I know, right? But hey, man, but we know you though. You're gonna say something crazy sooner or later. You're gonna have some type of hot take that's gonna get everybody salty. So,
Hey, engagement, baby.
Oh God, you gotta love it. So just wait on it, guys. Just wait on it.
But he's featured there too. You've got Larry in the photo, because he has been a fixture in her life since before her parents' divorce was ever finalized. Because both he and his son are also in the collage. I confirmed with classmates Larry and Lori were together since Erika's elementary school days. In other words, Erika grew up in a situation that is now termed as a bonus dad. Both her biological father and her stepfather figure is present and all
right,
living.
here comes the controversial take. She is over explaining something that could be explained in 30 seconds. For what point is she trying to discredit Erika Kirk that her husband was assassinated, so she's not able to run a company because her previous claims that she was able to her red herring of an insinuation that Candace is playing on her is that I can be a boss babe because my mom did it, and she's trying to pick that apart as a lie. So all of this is to say that she's too dumb woman to do company because she lied about or fucking what?
I don't think she's saying that. I think she's pretty much saying that the story that she told us about her inspiration may be a lie. Her inspiration that her single mom gave her, it may be a lie. But,
I mean,
shoot,
if
let her finish.
your parents aren't living in the same home, you're being raised by your mother with interactions with your father. Your mother is raising you. Just because your father's in your life does not mean your father's raising you. He's not providing. I don't
But there's a
understand.
stepdad in there. I mean, can we really call that a single mother?
No, you can't. I mean, my mom considers herself a single mother. I would consider my mom a single mom. She's been married 5 times. This is her 5th time being married, but for the vast majority of our lives, our dad, my dad anyway, wasn't in my life. I had stepdads, but it was off and on. So I would overarchingly say my mother was a single mother and raised us. Like, it's not a lie. If someone were to go through my life history and pick it through with a fine tooth comb because I had some sort of fucking vendetta against another woman with power, you could say that I was lying about that. But that's how my mom represents it. That's how I would represent it. Like, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? She's saying a whole lot of nothing is what she's doing.
I don't know. I think we gotta wait till she finishes out. I think we kind of, we're making the assumption.
I haven't said a single word. This woman's talked for 15 minutes about this shit.
Yeah, I know, but she still hasn't, brought it.
She hasn't
around
rounded the corner. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It could be explained in 30 seconds. She
Well,
wasn't exactly a single mom.
But remember, she ain't landed the plane yet, Monty. We still got to see. But shout out to my man.
She's crashing the plane.
I'm crying. But shout out to my man Daniel Castro. He says, reference, S.E.T said he calls out good looking. I'm crying. So he's pretty much saying that, oh, well, you didn't call out Monty's good looking ass.
Oh.
I'm like,
bro, I look like Sid from Ice Age. What are you talking about?
I'm done. Like, yo, Castro. But at the same time, no.
Oh, you remember S.E.T. You remember long ago when you and Sid were talking and Sid was fucking crashing out and he said that you were smiling and you were like, why are you staring at me smiling, man? Are you gay?
Bro, that's what me and we're Loki getting into it though about that. She's like, S.E.T, you're not laughing. I'm like, this is supposed to be funny for you, right? I'm like, damn it, Sid.
No, he said you were laughing. He said something and you like cracked a smirk and he's like, what are you laughing now? He's like, what? You're crashing out, Sid. And why are you staring at me, man? No homo.
No, that was funny. But all right, though, let's get back to it.
father and her stepfather figure were present and all living in and around the Scottsdale area. So why this little
Cool.
public misrepresentation? I would be super offended if I was a stay-at-home dad, and then suddenly you've got someone saying, I was all alone. My mom did it all by herself. Now, you will see throughout this investigation that there are a lot of little wrinkles like this in Erika's story. The question is, what broader purpose do they serve? Because I thought about that, and I remember reading in Xavier Poussard's book, Becoming Brigitte, that it is actually an intentional strategy of deception, a strategy used by the media in creating and curating a legend about, in this case, he was talking about Brigitte, how the press would intentionally make minor edits or overlook certain dates, small adjustments rather, made over a long period of time, a date wrong here, an age miscalculation there, just ever so slightly, because minor tweaks over a long period of time aren't noticeable, even though they ultimately amount to a big lie. This is exactly what I have found to be immediately frustrating about examining Erika's life. Minor tweaks that almost look like they could be mistakes. And you go, but really? Do people make these kinds of mistakes? Let's
Yes.
start with her birthday. Okay, give you another example here. Erika Franz, we are told, was born on November 20th, 1988 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Great. There's a newspaper relic
Yo.
announcing her birth 2 weeks later on December 6th that tells us that she was born at Good Samaritan Hospital.
Hey, we have a good
Fantastic.
Samaritan
Kenton Lori
here.
Franz, check. Amazing. By the way, it's just something to note about Good Samaritan Hospital. A little fun fact. That actually used to be the U.S. Marines Hospital, one that once upon a time caused a little bit of a scandal for unethically experimenting on the brains of patients. Anyway, the story goes that the U.S. Marine Hospital
Completely useless
decided
information.
to gift the hospital to the Catholic Sisters of Charity out of the goodness of their Marine hearts or something, because our military is known for that, just being really, really kind and giving up hospitals.
Yes, they
Point
are.
is, we learned from this newspaper clipping that Erika was born on November 20th, and she maintains that birthday today. But oddly, that would be news to her parents. Kent and Lori, for whatever reason, think that Erika was born 2 days later on November 22nd. We know this because of their divorce filings, which took place in 1998. On that divorce initial filing, Lori, who filed, lists Erika as having been born on November 22nd, multiple times. Now, in case you're thinking, well, maybe this was a mistake, you should know that the filing done by her mother, Lori, only has 4 statements of fact. It's effectively a one-pager. One of the facts is that Kent and Lori were married on November 20th, 1995 in Marblehead, Massachusetts. So they decided to get married on Erika's, what would have been Erika's 7th birthday. Okay, that's strange. I mean, at least the birthday she says she has, but this document is saying, no, she's born 2 days later. So I guess it wasn't her 7th birthday. Attached to this document, which was filed on July 20th, 1998, is another document that I can only assume was scanned in with an intention to further confuse people. It's a separation agreement, which is not notarized. It's not dated. So it's almost not relevant. And it completely edits the date of the marriage between Kent and Lori from November 20th, 1995 down to November 7th, 1982. A casual 13 years and 13 days wiped out. Okay. Like I said, you can just ignore that because I think that document was just put in there to confuse people. Take it from me. I'm a notary, one in the state of New York, although my license is expired. You can't just skip over a notary portion of a document and just be fine with that. In fact, we decided to dig through Ohio law and other publicly available divorce documents to see what they look like, and they are legitimate. And here is a side-by-side so you can see on the right is what is scanned into their file with totally different dates. And on the left, you can see that that's what it should look like. You get it notarized, okay? But it's going to get even more absurd when we examine the divorce decree. So for the uninitiated, the first document is just the filing. I, Lori, am pursuing a divorce, and here are the facts. And now what comes after that is the decree or the final judgment, okay? Now, I do want to note that this was the fastest divorce in the history of divorce because she filed on July 20th, 1998. And then we have a decree on November 10th of the same year. So this is like 3 months later. Once again, the
My
marriage date
divorce
is
was
listed,
faster.
the initial marriage date between Kent and Lori, as November 20th, 1995 in Marblehead, Massachusetts. But oddly, you can see that somebody just went in and tried to edit that date by hand afterward, adjusting the wedding date down this time to 1985, not 1982, hoping, I guess, that no one would catch that. I guess the unnotarized 1982 that we saw in the initial filing was too difficult. It would have been too obvious. So this time they're attempting to do it by hand and edit the date of marriage back just 10 years, not 13 years. This is not subtle. It is not normal, and it bothers me greatly. Take it from someone who is chronically being sued. That is not how modifications work on court documents. You can't just use a pen and write something on a divorce decree. You just can't do that. People have to initial, you got to date, you got to see who saw it. This is crazy to me. My suspicion, and again, this is just a general suspicion, is that this was done after the fact. Maybe someone had a friend down at the county clerk who was responsible for scanning those docs into the system, and they just kind of did that. Because that's not real life. That's just not real life. And once again, that has another casually added separation agreement, which is still not notarized, with an entirely different date of marriage. And the crazy part is that the separation agreement, in that separation agreement, Kent Francevey is waiving his rights to an attorney with no notary present. He just agrees that Lori's lawyer can represent him on everything. So what are we to discern from this? We are at 4 different plausible marriage dates between Kent and Lori Francevey across 2 documents. I should also add that I could not find a single trace of their alleged marriage in Marblehead, Massachusetts. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but I couldn't find it across any date. And Marblehead, I would like to know, is certainly an interesting town to pick because it's the recognized birthplace of the Marine Corps. We're going to keep hearing the Marines coming up throughout this entire story. We're just laying the groundwork here. Now, I should note, to be responsible here, that there are divorce-related documents that are available in Ohio online that we simply are not allowed to have access to. Like, people have privacy. That makes sense. So it's entirely plausible that they went in and fixed these glaring errors that for some reason a judge, we're supposed to believe a judge signed off on this many wacky different dates. But the point here is just to demonstrate to you how even the most mundane facts about Erika's life are frustrating to verify. And that's just an appetizer, my friends. Because then we received a very interesting email from Sweden. Yeah, my Sweden fans, what's up? What's up, Sweden? And it led me to even more questions about Erika's paternity. We are going to be right back after a break. All right, you guys, some good news. Thanks to you.
And all right, so what I picked up right now is that pretty much she's going into the fact that all the small stuff in her life is hard to verify, like, from her parents' divorce date to her actual birth date. And I think how she's leading this in is that, well, the more we get into her life, the more complex are and the more things are harder to corroborate. And it even starts at the base of, well, when she was born. But we'll see.
So Erika Kirk is just an alien that doesn't exist, and she teleported to the roof and shot Charlie Kirk, and it wasn't really Tyler Robinson.
Well, that's not what she's.
That's where we're gonna get to with this. Is the Marines with the mind control experiment? Like, she hasn't strung anything together other than someone wrote on pen.
If I could take a less dramatic approach, I think that she's kind of leading into Erika Kirk possibly being some type of intelligence asset that's been an intelligence asset for a while, and she kind of has this
from birth. From birth,
maybe even from birth. They might have gave her.
She's Black Widow. She's a Red Room candidate.
Like I said, I think it's going into more that Erika might be an intelligence agency or an intelligence agent, or honestly, she may be like, I don't know. Like, you ever heard of how they groom people to become leaders and all this good stuff? And this may be one of those cases, but it's more that's like, conspiracy. But all right, though, let's get back to Candace.
Also, on that same note, whether you are struggling with credit card,
whoops, my bad. There,
no free ad reads.
Which means she does like 3.
Cannot go so far as to suggest Candace. Okay, so we obviously cannot go so far as to suggest that Lori Loretta Abbas, Stanley Wallstad, Franz Fay was openly committing fraud. We can't say that. What we can confirm to you, however, is that if she was doing that, breaking the law and committing fraud is something that Lori's family is kind of historically known for. They kind of arrived into this country doing just that. You see, Lori Franz Fay, like I said, was born Loretta Abbas. She was named after her Syrian grandmother, Loretta Abbas. I want to sear into your mind right now that the Abbas family history is steep in gambling and casinos. It's all about gambling and casinos.
Yeah, what's up?
Look at what Castro just put.
Oh no,
in the
yeah,
chat.
Candace is to Monty what Sid is to Monty. I'm like, damn. I mean, you must be highly annoyed. Let's get back to it.
Steep in gambling and casinos. All about gambling and casinos specifically. As we go along in this series, the history and the present of gambling casinos is going to become increasingly relevant. So let's bring in the OG Loretta Abbas, Erika's great-grandmother who died in 1990, who was just constantly being arrested for running illegal slot machines. Okay, she came over from Syria and she got to work bringing filth and fraud in Pennsylvania. You check out this article from 1941 where she testifies that she ran numbers. It says Loretta Abbas of Washington, Thomas Roberts, whatever, testified that they engaged in the numbers business and had been arrested on numerous occasions. They explained their role in the numbers lottery without giving any direct testimony against the defendants. Okay, here's another one. We could keep going, but here's another article from 1944 where she pleads guilty to a lottery charge. It was before the court. She wasn't lying. She's always arrested on a lottery charge. The state police had a search warrant, and when they entered her house, they found a quantity of number slips. She was sentenced to pay the costs and $200 or 5 months in the county jail. Like I said, this was a family thing. Her husband was Mason Abbas, and he was magnificently fraudulent. I'm talking high-speed chases down the highway, lottery tickets blowing in the wind. Check out this article from 1935.
Bro,
and it tells us that he was overtaken in his automobile after a chase of several miles after he had failed to obey the officer's order to stop. Yes, Mason Abbas was arrested yesterday by County Detective Frank Krebs. Before an alderman, he was held for court in default of a $1,000 bond on a charge of conducting a lottery and was fined $10 and costs for refusing to stop when ordered to do so by a uniformed officer. During the race along the National Pike, which ended in West Alexander, Abbas is alleged to have thrown a package of 100 lottery tickets from his car. Officers recovered the tickets and are holding them as evidence. Yes. Lottery, gambling, slot machines. Again, sear that into your mind. Not just on Erika's maternal side of the family, not just the Abbas side, but also the Swedish side, the Franz Fay side. The Swedish side of the family, I will be clear, there's a notable difference. It seems like they've been involved legally. Carl Kenneth Franz Fay is Erika's paternal grandfather. Okay, he participated extensively in horse racing. More crucially, though, he was an executive at the American Banknote Company in Illinois. This is the company that was responsible for printing lottery tickets. It's a big contract, a big deal. Here he is in a newspaper in 1974 doing just that. It reads, printing began this week on the first Illinois state lottery tickets. Up to 10,000 agents. It tells us at the bottom there that Kent Franz Fay of the American Banknote Company, the printer, examines the first tickets of the initial press run. Let's stick with Grandpa Carl Kenneth Franz Fay for a little bit because he is, by all accounts, obviously Swedish. Erika herself is therefore Syrian Lebanese on her mother's side and Swedish on her father's side. So something which struck me as immediately odd about Erika is just how deeply she identifies as Swedish, despite her public insistence that she was raised by a quote-unquote single mother. Think about that just from a social perspective. If Erika was indeed raised by a single mother, wouldn't you expect her to identify more deeply with those Lebanese Syrian roots, right? You might even understand it if she resented her Swedish roots. Like, my dad didn't do anything.
The way she looks.
And so I'm not even doing anything with the Swedes.
I'll be real with you. The way she looked, you couldn't even have told me she had a Syrian/Lebanese mother. I ain't gonna lie. The way she looked.
She looks very Swedish.
Yeah,
Look at her
very
hair.
true. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Like, come on now. So it'd have been very hard to call that one.
And like being Swedish. To the contrary, Erika feels so deeply attached to her Scandinavian roots that in 2019, she moved to begin the process of obtaining her dual citizenship. She posted this herself, where she is, dual citizenship commenced. Okay. Maybe you're thinking logically, well, she loves her grandpa. I had a fantastic grandpa. I get that. I should mention she comes from a very long line of the Swedish Freemasons. She definitively was close to her
Oh,
grandfather.
there we go.
We know this because she posts about him many, many times over the years, referring to him affectionately as her morfar. Saw this over and over again. You just see posts of him on how much she loves him. She even mentioned her grandmother there. That's his wife, Elaine. And she says she is my angel in heaven, but I usually call her Mormor. So that's her morfar and her mormor. Show you another post, just her grandfather, where she's going to talk about reflecting upon losing him in 2016. She's posting this, and she again is going to address him as her morfar. This appears to be another wrinkle. You see, I received a flurry of emails from our fans in Sweden about this particular post, and they did not like this post. And what they told me about it, they didn't like about it, made me reconsider things. Now I'm paraphrasing, but they said, Candace, Erika is referring to her grandfather as her morfar. I was like, okay. So I looked it up. It means grandfather in Swedish. Like maybe she doesn't, but it's cute. Okay. Maybe she's not fluent, but she's cute. And then they explained it to me a little further. They said, no, Candace, the Swedish language is quite literal here. Morfar quite literally translates into mother's father, morfar. And farfar quite literally translates into father's father. We have different words for these things. These have entirely different meanings. You would never call your father's mother your morfar. You would never call, that's what she's doing. She's calling him her morfar. That is Erika's farfar. If Kent is her father, her father's father is her farfar. She said, the woman emailed this, she said, no Swedish grandfather would ever allow you to refer to him as morfar if he was not actually your morfar, okay? If he was your farfar, he'd say, very cute, I'm your farfar, let's get that straight. This would be something akin to being someone's grandfather and allowing them to call you uncle. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Words have meaning. So why is her very Swedish grandfather so Swedish, this line of Freemasons, Masons Swedish, allowing Erika to call him my mother's father? Lori's father? No, that's not Lori's
So
father.
we need to put some commentary in on
What's going on here? This is incredibly
Hold on now,
interesting.
because the way I'm thinking about this, all right, so pretty much what? Mislabeling a family member. I mean, that's weird, but I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes it could be like a little game or something. So we can't really say that. Now, I do find it weird, how she says, oh, my mom is this strong single mother who's Syrian Lebanese, and her father, who I guess wasn't really in her life like that, is Swedish. Hold on. Let me finish. And for some reason, she's taken on the father's identity more than the mother's identity, even though the father hasn't been around in her life. And then this is how I would explain it. Well, she looks pretty damn Swedish, so that's where she might align with more, even though the father has been absent. But go ahead.
We're getting dug. Like, we're not even in the weeds. We're fucking in the sewer culvert now. We're digging so far down for no fucking reason at all. Like, I got the opening little salvo that Candace did, and she's gonna show how Erika Kirk's this big fucking liar and all this stuff. And all we're getting is Morfar and Farfar. Blah 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 blah.
Well,
Yeah, the
actually,
date's
if you
been
pay
changed here.
attention, Monty, we're actually getting a timeline.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
get
it
the timeline. I get that. Why are we establishing a timeline going back to 1935?
Well, 1935, I mean 1985.
1935 is when this article that she just talked about with this gambling whatever and this like
No,
this
explain
is
the history of the business that her mom was in.
her father. Her
Father.
father
Okay,
was in.
so her father,
Yeah.
yeah, who her father was.
So you see, it's
I
so
mean, that's.
convoluted. We can't even keep track of it. It's
I mean, not.
ridiculous.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If she creating a timeline, that's relevant information. I think you're being a bit
Relevant.
overcritical.
Relevant to what? Like we're losing.
No, I'm not losing it. Maybe you are, but I'm understanding where she's getting, and I understand she's building on a timeline, and she's trying to get us to a certain point with this. So I'm just like, all right, I'll hear it out. But all right, shout out to my man Jack Bird. He said, I wanted to watch said media, not Candace Owens. Trust me, bro, I understand, but hey, this is a really controversial thing that everybody's talking about. So I kind of got to cover it. And I really couldn't care less. Is it just me? America first. And
Yeah,
you know what? I agree. I can agree with you on that one. America first. And I get how you couldn't really care less. But trust me, everybody cares about what Candace got to say. Or
no,
let's be
we
real.
we don't.
No, don't say that, Monty. Don't say that. You may not care, but everybody
No.
does seem to care.
Let's
I'm
put
sorry.
a poll up. How crazy do we think Candace is on a scale of 1 to 10? Go ahead, chat.
I don't think she's crazy. Honestly, I think that the
I
attack
think
on her is honestly like really is manufactured. I
I
think she's
think
touching on some good points, and I don't think that people want us to go in that direction. So let's just call her crazy. They did the same
she's
thing with
going.
Alex Jones. They did the same thing with Michael Jackson. Here they are trying the same formula again, and the people are falling for it.
No, she's fucking capitalizing on a situation, and meanwhile saying that Erika Kirk is this horrible person because she's capitalizing on a situation as the CEO of a company that she just overtook. Like I don't understand
Mhm.
the ethical logic that Candace is employing right here, because she's selling this, she is making money off of this, she is getting viewership off of this, she is doing this financially motivated.
Not really, because I mean, let's be real. You can't say there's a financial motivation. I mean, Candace
She's
did.
irrelevant. She is irrelevant other
Okay,
than this.
Monty. Now that's a lie. Candace was relevant before this, especially with the Brigitte Macron. You can't just say she's irrelevant.
So
Like,
she's lost her Brigitte Macron and now she needs something else,
no, she
some big.
still has it. She still
No,
has it.
no one's
I'm gonna be
talking about
honest with you.
Brigitte Macron. No one's
Yeah,
talking about that.
actually, yeah, people still are
It's
talking
lost
about
it's
Brigitte
lost
Macron.
its steam.
But Monty,
It's
just
lost its
because
steam.
you don't pay attention, don't mean other people aren't. Like, I'm sorry, but that's false. Like it or not, Candace is one of the biggest podcasters in the world.
On a scale of 1 to 10, chat, how crazy is Candace? How far off the mark and how far off of a rocker is she? 0 to 10, guys.
And on a scale from 1 to 10, how popular is Candace Owens? You got to give her a 10. But all right, let's get back.
She's not. She has like what, 1.3 million subscribers?
No. Okay, see now, Monty, I know you really don't know if that's what you're saying, Monty. Really, dog? Bro, 5.8 million subscribers, Monty.
My bad. 5.8. I guess it's gone up since she's fucking besmirching Charlie Kirk's name.
4 million. See, it's like you underestimated her popularity. And like you got to understand it's bigger than what you understand, or bigger than what you know. Sorry, not what you understand, but what you know. But all right, let's get back to it.
Wrinkle, which brings us to a point where we should introduce you to the family tree so you can just kind of see what's going on here, because this far scandal troubles me deeply. Is Erika lying? Is she mistaking? Is she making a mistake at all? Or is she accidentally actually trying to tell us the truth? Let's take a look at some other interesting tidbits. On March 21st of 2019, Erika visits with Charlie. She's in Jerusalem with Charlie, what is known as Zion's Gate in Jerusalem. She posts a picture with a pretty curious caption. It reads in part, meet Darla, a Romanian Jew that now calls Israel home. She was sitting by my family's dedication.
Oh, wait, she sounds like Jar Jar Binks. I was gonna say look like it, sure. And Kim Clacklin, no, Cackle, or yeah, Cacklin. She's relevant to this Kim Clack.
Sorry.
She's relevant to this. She's relevant. She's more relevant to this Owens discussion. She's relevant to this Owens discussion. Well, as far as her lawsuit goes, I mean, not really. Like I said, her and Candace Owens had her, legal dispute, and well, it seems like Candace Owens won that legal dispute. Now, according to my man Jack, he says, nah, those are Democrat courts. that just happened to rule in the favor of Candace. And I would have to look that up, because I'm gonna be real with you, like I'm just now hearing about this beef today. And according to the court files, this was going on like it started in what 2020, 2021.
That's how irrelevant Candace is. You're just now hearing about it today.
Bro, we're talking about an old beef. That goes to prove how irrelevant Kim is. We're still hearing about Candace today. Like I said, Candace, biggest
Yeah, because she's
podcaster in
up
the
in front of a
world.
camera every day.
Bro, we can't sit here and debate Candace's popularity when like it's undebatable. There's no debate on her popularity, bro. She's one of the biggest podcasters. She pulls in 1 million views a podcast. She's on Joe Rogan's level, like it or not. I know nobody likes her. I know y'all don't like her, but I mean, she cooking.
Just because people, she's not cooking with. What is she cooking with? She hasn't even gotten to a point yet.
I mean, no, like I said, she got into a couple. She's gotten to
No, she's insinuating things. There's a difference between insinuating something and actually
well, what is she insinuating?
actually making a point.
There is a discrepancy in her birth, which there is. She said there's a discrepancy in her parents' divorce, which it is.
And what does that have to do with Erika Kirk, the person we're talking about right now? Her initial insinuation is that she's not qualified to run the company that she's running right now, and that
she hasn't really said that. She said that
exactly.
She's stepping up to it. So obviously, let's wait. Like I said, we gotta wait before we.
That's what I'm saying. She hasn't gotten to a point. She hasn't gotten to a point. It's very, very drawn out, and it's a whole lot of fluff for nothing.
Oh, shoot, let's give it 10 more
minutes.
minutes.
That's where I'm at right now. I'd like to see more, but
but I get that. Let me see. Klasick. Okay, that's how you pronounce it. Candace was instructed to destroy Klasick. Like I said, we'd have to have some proof on that one. I don't know about that. Two conservative black women going at each other. It kind of sounds like just a regular day in the hood to me, but hey, it is what it is.
Sign for restoring the Zion Gate in Jerusalem. Oh. What? Why is Erika describing the Zion's Gate as her family's dedication? Speaking of which, why does her one-time roommate, Nicole Rothstein, allege that half of their family, referring to her and Erika's family, is Jewish? Doesn't make sense. She also claimed that after Charlie's assassination, that Erika, she was online going back and forth with people, that Erika was her best friend and her cousin. Nicole Rothstein said this. Now, I want to be clear, the Rothstein family, the Zion's Gate is their dedication. Nicole wouldn't be lying if she posted that it was her family's dedication, but Erika? Also, how did Erika and Nicole Rothstein get so close? Remember, Erika presents that she was raised by a single mother on the Lebanese side. If Erika is telling the truth about her paternity, then Nicole Rothstein, I want you to understand who this would be to her. Nicole Rothstein, it's going to sound ridiculous, but this is the reality. If Erika's telling the truth, Nicole Rothstein would be Erika's father's sister's husband's previous wife's daughter's daughter. In other words, zero blood relation, not even kind of related, kind of crazy. You would even call each other cousins. People do that. It's cool. It's my cousins, my cousin. Okay, cool. Erika goes a little further, though. Erika also posted a lovely tribute to Alan Rothstein, Nicole's father, online. She calls him Uncle. Uncle? Whoa. If Erika's telling the truth about who her parents are, to Erika, that would be her father's sister's husband's previous wife's daughter's husband. Suffice it to say, again, absolutely zero blood relation, and yet Erika is extraordinarily close to him as well. Now, we can show you on the family chart just how removed this is. It's insane. Okay, but we actually couldn't even fit it. It's so far removed. So you got her aunt, Carla, is married to a guy named Jack, but Jack was also previously married to somebody else, which you see there named Edna. And this is Edna and Jack's line. This has nothing to do with Erika Franzwey. Again, how did she get so close to these people? Why is she referring to them as her family and declaring that Zion's Gate, which is actually their family's dedication, which has nothing to do with her aunt Carla? Why is she saying that that's her family's dedication? That makes no sense. I'm struck by this. We could imagine how it could make sense. Now, again, we're imagining here. We're trying to make sense of the things that Erika is saying. I could imagine a very easy way it could actually make sense. Her closeness to the Rothsteins, her dedication to Jerusalem, if and only if we take Erika literally when she says Morfar. Let's assume that Grandpa Carl is indeed her mother's father. That would mean, well, obviously, Lori's wouldn't be her mother. It would also mean that Kent, just by nature of him being a man, is not her father. We're looking for her mother's father. So we have to start looking at Kent's siblings that are females. That would give us only 3 options. We can bring this back up. One of Kent's sisters would be my first pick. Again, we're in conspiracy land here, but I'd go with Carla because she's married to Jack Solomon, and that is Jack Solomon's dedication. Carla wasn't even married to Jack until 2002. She just jumped in and was like, this is my whole family and my family's dedication. No. But if Carla, her mother's father, if her mother was Carla, actually it would all make sense. Solomon is the very man who financed the restoration of Zion's Gate in Jerusalem. If Jack Solomon was her father, then Nicole Rothstein would indeed be her blood relative cousin. But again, that's purely speculation. We don't have to go into speculation. Let's just give you the facts more about Jack Solomon. What is factual is that Jack Solomon eventually marries Carla Ronsvay in 2002. And there are also some other really interesting facts about Jack. Jack and Erika's mommy aunt, I don't know, Carla, live in Utah. He graduated from what is today known as Utah Valley University. He's very involved in the university. It was formerly known as Utah Valley State College when he graduated from there. He also created on their campus the Center for Jewish Studies. I mean, at the very least, you'd think with all of the money that he poured into that university, he might be able to call someone to get us more footage of Tyler Robinson. Or Carla. How about Carla? She's married to the man. She could have maybe, in my imagination, made it to the hospital when Charlie was shot and killed. I mean, why did none of them make it to the hospital? They're all so nearby. She still lives in Utah. This happened in their backyard.
Are
The
you
family has a lot of
serious?
power at UVU. Why not Auntie Carla rather than Stacey Sheridan accompanying you onto Air Force 2 as your husband's body is escorted to Arizona? Jack Solomon was also a professor at BYU in political science. He's the former director of the university's Jerusalem Center. He also served on the Center for Jewish Studies on the board at UVU. Zion's Gate, like I said, is his dedication. And if you're wondering how Jack got so rich, it's because back in 1968, Jack and his business partner, a man named Norman Vance, began a company called Advanced Patent Technology. That company would go on to manufacture slot machines. You got it. Slot machines. It's just amazing. It's like everyone is involved in gambling. Per his bio, in 1974, Jack gathered more than $5 million to purchase United Coin, the manufacturer of slot machines and the holder of a profitable Southern Nevada slot machine routes. In 1979, they announced plans for the Colorado Bell Hotel and Casino in Laughlin, Nevada, the first of a series of hotels.
All right. So what I got is mislabeling of either close friends of the family or just family members. And then, of course, a family connection to the gambling industry. Doesn't
Set.
really say too much about, I'm be real with you. Like, oh, well, is this a good person did she kill or was she involved in Charlie Kirk's murder? She ain't saying that. Is she saying that Erika Kirk is unfit to run TPS USA? Well, she ain't even saying that. She's just pretty much saying that
She's
there's
just
a lot
talking.
of discrepancies in Erika's past. That's pretty much all she's saying.
And what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Well,
Like, read.
whoa, Monty, because Erika has said otherwise, and now it's been proven wrong. That's the problem. When you say something and it turns out to be a lie, I mean, you're gonna get kind of called out, and you're gonna get
Hey,
called
Set,
up.
I'm gonna hit you with it. That assumes duplicity.
What? Oh, caught up. Well, yeah, I'm be real with you. You're right. It does assume duplicity. Erika could have just been getting it. She could have just got the date wrong. Her parents could have been wrong, and Erika could be going on bad information. And she could also she might not know Swedish that well, and her grandfather could have just been letting her call her that. I mean, you're right. That does assume duplicity. This could all be there could all be innocent reasons for these mistakes. even with the whole, Jack Solomon and all that good stuff. And I
Set.
mean,
Candace is just being a bottom feeder to gain relevancy. That's all she's
nah,
doing.
she don't, bro. She don't need to be a bottom, bro. She do not need Erika Kirk to gain relevancy. Monty, you're wrong about that one.
She's being a bottom feeder.
Nah, nope. Actually, she's staying right on subject. She's been on Charlie Kirk's case, and Erica's been
How
acting so funny,
coincidentally,
so she's hopped over.
How coincidentally, 24 hours after his death, she's already waving red flags all around.
I
And
mean,
she
come on,
hasn't.
bro. That was everybody. She's just the biggest channel to do it. Therefore, she catches most of the flack.
What? Set. She's being a bottom feeder.
No, she's not, Monty. How's that be, bro? A bottom feeder? No, she's just honestly giving us what she found out. The fact
This
that
is
she found out about
TMZ
her
level.
past.
This is
That's it.
TMZ level
How is
accusations.
that a bottom feeder though? Like
Again,
Monty, go ahead.
Again. This
Top
is
podcast
TMZ.
had big
Okay,
ratings before this entire story. If anything, she's the one making the story big. So that's not bottom feeding if you're the one blowing up the story. You're bottom feeding when if somebody else blows it up and you're taking that story for yourself.
She's manufacturing controversy out of nothing.
She didn't manufacture anything. She just gave us the straight facts and inconsistencies. She's no
manufacturing controversy. Controversy is an emotion.
Controversy before. There's controversy before that.
Are you gonna let me talk, or
well, Balti, you're kind of not making sense.
Are you gonna let me talk? We've listened to Candace talk for 30 minutes.